But that would seem odd, wouldn't it? Like, it just, especially considering Kevin Durant has said that he doesn't love the nonsense that follows around LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, based upon what I've been told. Just that was the part of the LeBron experience he didn't love. It wasn't that he didn't like playing with LeBron. It was LeBron is the GM. LeBron picks the coach, and when things go wrong, it's yours. So I think that part probably makes it a non-starter. You have Brooklyn, who all they would have to do is find a way to get rid of D'Angelo Russell, and theoretically, they could get both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, theoretically. But do you want to go to New York and play for Brooklyn instead of going to New York and playing for the Knicks, right? The whole idea is to be the guy that solves the Knicks, if you can be the guy that solves the Knicks. And if you're the NBA, that's what you want to have happen. That's what you want to have happen. It's a dream scenario for the league. If you're Adam Silver, this is what you want. It's the number one, it's the biggest city in the country, the media market, the number one media market. And as we've seen the ratings go down, one reason is because you can't watch LeBron play late. Now you don't want to watch the Lakers play because LeBron's not even. It's hard to have East Coast viewers. 66% of sports TV viewers are in the East Coast. Stay up to watch LeBron or the Warriors or anything West Coast. You also have something that with inside circles in the NBA is important. You have an all African American front office and head coach. And I think Adam Silver wants to champion that because the league has been made up of so many prominent African Americans, not less. And the only way to truly support black head coaches and black general managers and black presidents is to have the best players want to play for them. And you got David Fizdale, who everybody likes and respects, has been a part of championship teams with the Miami Heat. Like, all of these things checks a bunch of boxes. It levels out the playing field in the West so that the Warriors are not ridiculously dominant. It makes the Knicks prominent again and gives them at least a likelihood of making the playoffs and a possibility of competing for a championship. It supports the nation's biggest market, the media capital, where, by the way, the NBA is located and fills up Madison Square Garden. Sure, the owner no one really likes, but he doesn't have any oversight into the team. He gave that away when he got Phil Jackson, and he just shows up at games and sometimes makes an ass of himself. The only thing really holding it back is the fact that, well, I guess two things. One, New York and the media and Kyrie and KD, they haven't exactly said and done the right things. And the pressure of being an upcoming free agent seems to have bothered both of them. They can want to talk just about basketball all they want. That's just not the way it works. And in New York, everything is magnified. The good will be made better than possible. Think of Linsanity, right? 2 weeks of Linsanity made Jeremy Lin into a household name. Imagine what KD and Kyrie can do. But the bad can make it into what's seen as a national disaster. Oh, and there's the whole idea of who gets credit for being the guy that saves the Knicks. Is it Kyrie? Is it KD? And we can say it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. All that matters is that you win games and you do so with people who are friends or family members. You know, the worst thing to do is work with friends, work with family members, because that's a good way to ruin those relationships. KD and Kyrie to New York. If you're in the front office of the NBA, if you're in Adam Silver's office, dude, you want that to happen so bad. You can't make it happen, but you can champion it. But there is the holdback of how will they handle themselves in New York under the white-hot spotlight, the media capital of the country. We'll find out with Chris Broussard in a second. First, let's get to Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Heard on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So, LeBron is going to use this offseason to film Space Jam 2, as we know, but he's not going to let it interrupt his usual offseason preparations or rehab in this case. According to The Athletic, the Space Jam 2 set will have a full-length basketball court for LeBron to use for his summer training.
It is a basketball movie, right?
Right, but I mean, to have a full-length actual court on set is not normal. Like you have a set that you shoot on, and then he's going to have a set that he practices and works out on.
It's the exact same thing for Michael Jordan. Like this feels like it's another LeBron. Like, let's plant this in the media. Don't worry, I'm working on my game.
I'm going to be working out.
Yeah,
this is very, very poor timing for this movie to be shot.
I'm healthy enough to shoot a movie about basketball and to work out in basketball, but not healthy enough to play for the Lakers.
Well, I mean, like shooting the movie, like being healthy enough to shoot the movie, that part doesn't stick out so much. It's just the whole aura around the Lakers and LeBron right now after this disastrous season and all the different negative storylines and just bad press that LeBron has gotten off of this season. It's just not for the movie itself. Like, I'm a big Space Jam fan.
I am too.
I wasn't particularly excited about this Space Jam 2 reboot. I really don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it, obviously, but I don't know what to expect. Not that I'm a crazed Space Jam purist or something.
Is Kevin Hart going to play Bill Murray's character? Is that going to happen? That feels like it's
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that I'm imagining it's going to be fun. LeBron's pretty good at the movie stuff, so I don't think it's going to be disappointing in that regard. It's just whatever fun buzz you had for it, it's kind of feels like a little bit of a dud for this season. You know what I mean? Like, if they had gone to the playoffs,
but it's not going to come out. It's not going to come out for another year.
Not for another year, but I mean, you kind of hope that you're not in the same situation when it does come out, because it just doesn't. It doesn't feel. I wish he would have done this.
It doesn't come out for 2 years. Is that what you said?
2021. Yeah. Well, so you just have to shoot it and then edit it.
You need 2 years to edit it.
Well, I mean,
how long do these things take? I guess because you got to draw Bugs Bunny and then the Monstars.
I mean,
although I thought they do that on computer.
Do kids watch Bugs Bunny?
They watch Space Jam. No, I mean, they go through the list of, from Phineas and Ferb
Looney Tunes was a big deal.
Looney Tunes is, still a big. You can still watch it whenever. It's just kids do view things differently. They'll watch LeBron James. They'll watch Looney Tunes. Do you have to introduce them to who Bugs Bunny is and why he goes?
Isn't that going to be crazy?
What's up, Doc? Right?
That's going to be weird, right?
Going to be very strange.
Lola Bunny was my favorite character. All right, so there's no question that the NBA has evolved over the past decade, and one of the most obvious changes is the center position, or what's starting to be the lack thereof. And Draymond Green told The Athletic that he believes his team has something to do with it. He said the game kind of got to a point where centers were irrelevant for the most part. You look back on it, we probably played a part in it. And The Athletic also had a great point from Steve Kerr. He said, in Kerr's estimation, the modern game never killed off the center spot. It's the traditional power forward who's now extinct. You either guard a wing or a center. The Charles Oakleys, the Horace Grants, those kind of guys are gone. Kerr said it's more that you just play one big, so that big, to me, represents a 5. Now, I think what Draymond is really saying is Steph Curry killed off the center spot with the 3-ball. Nope. But
I disagree with you.
I'm not saying that he did.
Yes.
I'm saying just the evolution of the game itself and the value of Steph Curry's not the only person that's obviously he is a transformative shooter, one of the best, if not the best shooter in league history. But I think as a whole, the game has become more finesse, more skill, and that has played a part in it as well, along with the 3-point shooting.
This is one of those "How long's this radio show?" of this segment. It's a great discussion. I side more with Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I do too.
But Draymond's right. But Steve Kerr is more right? Because you do start. Everybody has a center,
right?
A traditional center. The power forward is useless unless he can shoot a 3. And LeBron James is a power forward who's now a point guard as well.
Right. The position. Right. LeBron may actually be more a part of it because he's created a positionless.
Right, and position. Then but it's also, really it started probably with the Phoenix Suns when they moved Sean Marion to the 4, and they played 4 out or even 5 out, and Amari Stoudemire became their center. And all of a sudden you had to have a power forward that could guard out there. You still need rim protection. And then Draymond is the kind of elixir to kind of fix that, because you can switch all of these screens if you can do it. Honestly, it'd be a fascinating documentary on how this thing has evolved. But
it's an elaborate discussion, but it's
I've made this argument with Nick Wright before. How much better would Michael Jordan be if you take the power forwards out of the game, where there's nobody who can knock you on your ass when you drive to the basket the way that
But you
Charles...
also can't do that anymore. So also the hand check being removed probably plays
Correct.
a huge
Both
role in it as well.
have played a part to where it's offensive basketball, downhill, spread
Right.
the court. It's the game's taught completely different. I coach my son. We put 5 guys outside. They're not even 3-point shooters. We put them 5 guys outside 3-point line, right? Because you're going to play that way for the rest of your life.
Right.
You're not playing motion basketball, reading screens, even if the Warriors do some of that stuff. So it's a really interesting discussion. I agree with actually both of them.
I think we brought it up perfectly. And finally, the new look Browns offense appears to be stacked for the upcoming season. We talked about that earlier. Baker Mayfield couldn't be happier to be at the forefront of this turnaround, and he said he's ready to bring a Super Bowl to Cleveland.
Absolutely not satisfied with how last year ended by any means. And then, you start to, realize what jump you want to make from year 1 to year 2. And for me, it's really important for people to realize that it's not just a fluke season. Like, this is real. I want to improve. I'm not satisfied with setting one record. I want to win Super Bowls. I want to do a lot more. They keep increasing. The more talent I have around me, it's going to make my job a lot easier, but that means I have to work that much harder for it.
I think that's a good perspective for Baker to have. I don't really like the aim low, overachieve mentality. Just, you're there to win Super Bowls, even if it is Cleveland, and that seems impossible. They put an incredible roster together, at least on paper, and we do this every year. This roster looks Super Bowl bound, but they have incredible talent on that team. Now, it'll actually
on
be
both sides of the football.
I'm not saying they're going to win Super Bowl this year, but if they don't have some level of success this year, make it to the playoffs, win a playoff game, it's kind of a disappointment when you look at that roster.
Yeah, let's see how the season plays out. If they're healthy, yes, I would generally agree.
Well, there's a lot that can still happen. We haven't even gotten to the draft yet. But we're talking about how it's constructed right now with the assumption that they will add more talent in the draft.
Yes.
And we make these proclamations based off of the idea that every team with the talent healthy as they have it, knowing that that's not going to be the case, of course. You're going to lose people along the way. That's how it goes. But the way that it's constructed right now, on paper, they have expectations.
Sure.
They made big moves.
Offensive line is going to be you think would be an issue, but basically also it's like coaching and what happens when they hit adversity. I'll just say this about Baker Mayfield, because I know